Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and also the garden. I cannot believe just how fast this year has gone and also the gardening season, but I've had so much fun sharing it with you every single month so far. But this time I want to do something a little bit differently because we are getting really close to our average first frost here in Vermont. I wasn't sure how long the plants were going to hold out, so I didn't want to wait till the end of the month to do a big tour and harvest. So instead, I have been filming little clips all September long of us harvesting a bunch of different stuff like our pumpkins and potatoes and peppers, as well as what's growing and changing in the garden, but also our leaves in the backyard because it is absolutely beautiful this time of year, and I'm so excited to share just a little bit of that magic of nature with you. So if that's what you want to see, go ahead and get nice and comfy, grab yourself a cozy beverage. I have my classic maple latte in my favorite Mickey pumpkin mug, and let's get to it.
I cannot think of a more perfect way to start the month of September than harvesting our first ever pumpkin. Last year we grew some Jacoby Littles, which are a tiny gourd variety, but this is our first year growing a jack-o'-lantern that would actually be big enough to carve, and it was surprisingly heavy. As you see, we were testing it out, and I'm curious if you can guess the correct weight because me and Sasha both got it wrong. So drop it in the comments below, and also let me know down there, would you carve into it or leave it whole? Because I don't know if I have the heart to do it after growing it all summer long. Anyways, the other thing we harvested that day was potatoes, which this has become an obsession of mine this year. I think it was the crop that we grew the most of, which is funny because last year they weren't even on my radar. I just randomly planted one that had sprouted on the counter and ended up getting like 5 more potatoes from it. But it started this obsession where this year we ended up growing 12 plants, 4 different varieties, and got a pound from each, meaning we have 12 pounds of potatoes now curing in our basement. And this just makes me remember how abundant this world we live in is, that you could take one little spud and get a whole pound out of it. And if you're thinking of growing potatoes yourself, I would highly recommend doing it in these cloth bags because it makes the harvesting process so easy. As you see, we just dump them out into the wheelbarrow, dust off the potatoes, and then put all the soil back in, which, by the way, I'm going to reuse this for our fall seeds, and I'll show you that in a second. But first, we have to get these down in the basement to cure them. Now, this is my first time curing potatoes, but I read online that they need high humidity, good ventilation, and darkness. So I thought this herb drying rack that we bought would be the perfect thing, as long as we keep it dark down there and with the fan going. And of course, I threw a couple more herbs in there as well. But I will link this down in the description below for you and also let you know down there how they're doing. We have about 2 more days of cure time, but I'm really hoping they work out well. On to the next thing we harvested this month a few days later, eggplants. Last year, none of my plants actually flowered and produced fruit, so I'm really happy about this and really confused by this one. So we grew our eggplants next to our bell peppers, and I guess there was some cross-pollination because these guys, as you see, turned purple. And I looked all over the internet and did not find anything about cross-pollination of eggplants and purple peppers. So let me know if you have ever seen this before. Maybe I should save the seeds and see if I can get these purple peppers, eggplant peppers, egg peppers, whatever we're calling them, to come back again next year. All right, a few days later, we are finally getting to those fall seeds that we were talking about, reusing the soil from the potatoes, which I added some fertilizer in here just to make sure these take, but I'm happy to report that just in the week since I planted these, they are already sprouting. And I'm also happy to report that our local chipmunk population is doing well. He actually lives in this little garden bed right next to where I'm planting and clearly has no fear of me. But hopefully he does not touch these seedlings, and by keeping them in the greenhouse, maybe that'll keep him away. At the very least, it'll help keep some warmth in because we are expecting that first average frost here in a month. And luckily these are cold hardy plants, but I've never actually tried growing anything in this greenhouse over the winter. So send us some good vibes that these things survive at least a couple of months in the frozen tundra of Vermont. And while I was doing all of this, my wife was cleaning up our back arch and discovering some butternut squashes that finally were pollinated and growing. Luckily, the bees have been on it, but I've been helping out too with a little bit of hand pollination, and also really excited to show you that we finally have a completed arch. That was one of my goals last year, and it did not happen because of all the soil issues. So I'm feeling very accomplished, very proud, and also very excited for this celery. This is another new plant for us this year, and it was absolutely delicious in this wild rice and chicken recipe that we tried. But I definitely want to grow a different variety next year. As you can see, the stalks are just really thin, still tasty, but I definitely want some bigger ones. And that takes us to our last day of gardening for this month. And I know it probably looks like I have been filming this all on the same day because I'm wearing the same sweater in about all of these clips. I did not realize that until I went to go edit this, but clearly it is one of my favorites. It has lyrics from my favorite Taylor Swift song, All Too Well, and by one of my small business besties. So I will link her Instagram down below if you are also a Swiftie or a Disney lover. She does a lot of mashup shirts, which are just so creative and cute. Anyways, though, we are grabbing some sun golds from this arch, which as you can see, I am too short to reach. And also this arch is finally dying out. We've had a few cold nights here. The plants are not happy, but we're still getting a really good harvest from them, from our tomatoes, still have a few cucumbers. And the other thing that I'm really excited about harvesting from back here are some peppers. It's so weird. We had a cold snap like all of August, a random 80-degree week, which I guess made all of these peppers finally grow and ripen. And now we're back to like 50s every day. So the garden's a little bit confused, but it's still doing pretty well. And I am pretty happy with this harvest. We'll see how much longer this arch holds out, but so far it is looking pretty good. And the one in the back is as well. Like I said, it's mostly completed because of this loofah in the front. The Roma tomatoes aren't exactly touching in the middle yet, but they're still producing really well, and I've gotten a lot of jars of canned tomatoes off of it. I'm just really crossing my fingers that the loofahs and the butternuts and the zucchini and the peppers and all the other things growing back here actually develop before that first frost hits. But we will have to see if they will make it and if there will be a garden update next month. But at the very least, I will update you on all the fall foliage because it is absolutely breathtaking.
And with that, I think we are done here today and possibly with our last garden tour of the season. I'm so sad to say that because it has been so fun hanging out with you on here. But unfortunately, that average first frost is definitely on the way and possibly snow. You never really know here in Vermont. So we'll see if anything survives next month, like that butternut squash and the fall seedlings in the greenhouse. But at the very least, I will keep you updated on the fall foliage because it is just pure magic, and that's what we share on this channel. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And also while you're down there, if you can give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, so I know to continue this series next season. As for me though, I'm gonna go make myself another cup of coffee because I am almost out. But if you wanna keep hanging out with me on YouTube, click this video right here and I'll see you over in that one.